Boobs. Boobs. Why are you being so stupid? I'm sorry, boobs. It's not your fault. It's Chloe's fault. Clothes? Why are you being so stupid to boobs? Oh, hi. Sorry. Welcome to my not a sewing video. I'm your hostess, Emily the Sucky Seamstress, and I was just yelling at my boobs. Okay, not my boobs, my shirt. It started with yelling at my boobs, but then I realized it's not my boobs' fault. It's my shirt's fault. When you're a bigger woman, you have these gap issues where your shirts just like pull open and you're like, excuse me, I would really prefer if you stayed closed and nice and neat looking and the buttons all sit right. And what I usually do is safety pin those points. But what I've been trying to do lately is I bought a bunch of little snaps and I've been sewing them into the undersides of the shirts that I have issues with. And then you just snap it right there in between the buttons, and it tends to keep the problem from happening. So apparently this shirt is yet another shirt that needs some little snaps. I only had one safety pin, so I safety pinned the top, but now hopefully there hasn't been too much gappage today. I look a little more conventional today. I don't know how to put it. In my shirt from the Gap. Because when I'm interviewing for jobs, I try not to throw my whole retro-inspired clothing style at them all at once. I try to mix it up. So, I've got a full skirt on. But, I have a little bit of a more modern shirt with some kind of retro touches, a little bit more modern jewelry, etc. To just kind of mix it up a little bit. So I'm not just throwing my whole big colorful dresses, big updo hair, flowers in the hair, the whole bit at them. Now you're probably saying, Emily, just be yourself. And if they don't like you, on them. I get it. I've said the same thing to others. The problem is, I really need a job. Okay? I'm sorry. I just really need a job. And I just don't need to be judged for my personality or my clothes right now. I figure I can slowly ease them into it once I get a job. And it's always possible a job will be like, hey, we need you to dress a little more modern professional. If that's the case, I'm perfectly fine with that. There are certainly some ways where I can add some modern professional clothing into my current retro-inspired wardrobe and mix and match a little bit that should please everyone for the workplace environment, if the job ends up being a workplace environment job. I haven't really figured out what I'm hoping for. Part of me hopes for a workplace environment job where I get to go to work every day, because I haven't gone to work every day in like 4 years. And I realize that I am people starved. When I'm around my friends, I'm talk. I'm sure they are absolutely like, just, Emily, shut up. Because the only person I have to talk to is Handsome Hubby or Puppy George. And I'll tell you, Puppy George gets talked to. Oh yeah. In fact, he gets talked to so much that sometimes he will get up while I'm talking, roll his eyes up at me, and go upstairs to get on the bed. I will hear him tap, 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 tap upstairs, and then the little jump up onto the bed. And I'm like, wow, I even like frustrated my dog with all of my talking. And it's just because, well, first of all, I'm a talker. I just am. I'm a talky person. But also, I haven't had people to talk to. Like, I don't talk to people. So the idea of having coworkers that I get to go into work and interact with every day sounds wonderful. Except for the fact that in my last job, which lasted 6 years, there were a few coworkers that basically made my life miserable. So, you know, that's in the cons when you're doing the pro and cons for working in a workplace versus working at home. Now, working at home means George, who's had someone home with him for 4 years, doesn't have to readjust back to having no one at home with him all day long, which I don't really want him to have to go through at his age. He's about 14, 15. And also means, you kind of have that freedom at home. You need to use the bathroom, go use the bathroom. You need to get a snack, get a snack. You're kind of your own boss under a boss. So, but also working at home means it's just you. No workplace environment, no people to see, nowhere I'm getting dressed up for to go to every day. So it's a mixed bag. I don't really know how I feel, but it doesn't really matter because at this point in time, I'll take just about anything. I've had some interviews this past week and I have some next week. So fingers crossed for me. We will see how it goes. I was going to talk about something. What was I going to talk about? Oh, I have to show you my new mug. Okay. It doesn't have any tea in it because it's a really special mug and I didn't want to put tea in it. It's over here. So my friend Rebecca, that you all know as Lady Rebecca Fashions, I just got back from an enviable tour of England, a driving tour with her mother. I mean, hello. Jealous? So jealous, says the girl who hasn't been anywhere. And England's like my top of the list, So anyway, she asked what she could bring me back. And I was like, I don't know, just bring me back something that screams England. So she found the perfect thing for me. She knows I love mugs and she knows I love Queen Elizabeth. And I'm just devastated that she passed before I could go to England while she was there as queen. So she found me this delightful mug. I believe in like a little secondhand shop or something. And it commemorates the Silver Jubilee of Queen Elizabeth II. Now, the Silver Jubilee celebrated when the Queen became queen in 1952 through 1977. So that's math. Oh, math. 25 years, right? Oh, I think I did my math right. 25 years as queen. So it's just this beautiful little mug with this beautiful portrait of the queen on it. It's got a little decoration on the back and it's going to be super hard. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see it. It's very hard to see. It's just this very raised portion in the cup underneath that just says made in England. Anyway, it's precious. I love it. It's going in my special things cabinet, which is actually directly behind where the camera is. I love it. It's so precious. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to drink tea out of it because it's amazing, but I also feel like it's like sacrilege not to drink tea out of it. So maybe every year on like the Queen's birthday, I might drink some tea out of it. Couple of things. So, while digging in my sewing room, I found a new project. I know, I can hear you. Emily, no new projects. You have way too much sewing to do. But this is kind of part of my Regency sewing that I need to get done. A few years ago, back in 2020, I think, a friend of a friend was moving and selling off like a lot of her costuming stuff and fabrics and whatnot. And I found this lovely floral fabric just beautiful. It's the maroon color that I love, this light, tiny floral flower fabric, and some maroon fabric that kind of matches it. And so I was like, oh, I'd love to purchase this. And she said, you know, I made a Regency dress out of that floral fabric. I was like, you did? I bet it's beautiful. And she brought it out and she said, here, it's yours. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. I will buy it from you. And she said, no. Seeing how much you love this, I'm going to give it to you. And I knew I'd found a kindred spirit because that is exactly how I am. The list of things I have given to friends over the years is astronomical. I mean, when friends have liked something, I have just given it to them. And I'll tell you, I have some major regrets over things I have given to people over the years. Because I have given some like super expensive stuff to people. I have given stuff to people that I loved. I've given stuff to people that I had like major plans for. But my brain is just like, give it to them, then they'll like you. So, but the other reason I give stuff to them, especially when it's something like really precious to me, is because I know that they will appreciate it as much as I did. Hold that thought. Alexa, skip. I tell the woman classical music, instrumental classical music, and she starts playing opera. I mean, come on. Now, don't get me wrong. I love opera. I love opera. It's so hard to find friends to go to the opera with me. But I don't want it playing during my whatever this is, my vlog. Anyway, so in with this dress that she gave me, oh no, I was saying, part of why I give friends things that are very important or meaningful to me is because I see how much they love them and their eyes light up and they're like, oh, that is beautiful and that is amazing. And I see that they appreciate that item just as much as I do. So anyway, in my adult years, there are a lot of things that I have done in the past that I am trying to work on. One of them is giving my precious things away. Trying to stop doing that. Trying to stop doing that. That is not a proper sentence. Oh well, we know I'm not going to edit. Anyway, along with that dress, she also gave me this lovely Regency petticoat. It's a long line petticoat. So it, I've actually got it folded the opposite direction of how it's supposed to go. So it fits like this. This is the front. And then it has a drawstring that goes through here. And then it's long line, and then it's got these lovely ruffles and pin tucks at the bottom. Now, she and I were about the same size around. So it fits me about the same width around. But I have a much longer torso. So I cut the straps, and I'm going to add onto the straps. And then she was also shorter than me. So I'm going to add an extra ruffle layer to the bottom to make it a little bit longer. And I figured this would be perfect to add in to my Regency stuff. And the changes aren't major sewing. It's adding bits into the straps and adding an extra ruffle layer at the bottom. Not major sewing. So I hope I have your blessing collectively to add it into my list of sewing to do. Because as we know, my sewing list is extensive. Oh, hey, question for y'all. If any of my sewing friends are watching, which you're probably not, is this yours? Can you see the light is shining on it? It's really bright. Can you see that? It's the Truly Victorian 447 pattern, the 1863 sheer bodice. Here's why I'm asking. I had pulled this out to make one the other day, which didn't end up happening. Big shocker. and realized I have 3 copies of this pattern. Now, that's not necessarily unusual because my sewing room is so often a mess. And because I so often pull out patterns to cut out or to daydream about or to look at, to plan projects and then don't ever put them back, or they don't have a place to be put back or whatnot, I forget that I have them. And then when I'm like, oh, I want to make that thing, do I have that? I rebuy it. It's a problem. I have tons of repeat patterns that I really need to sell. So I have 3 of this. So I opened them up. One of them isn't even cut out, brand spanking new. One of them is cut out, and then there was this one that I'm pretty sure is not mine because it's got the original pattern, and the original pattern is folded all funky and weird, just like someone went, I don't care, and folded it however, which is not the way I fold. I fold them up like on the original lines. And then there's, how do I explain this? So then there's a copy of the pattern on like this tracing paper. So there's a copy of the pattern on tracing paper in writing that is not my writing. And then there's like another copy of the pattern on this kind of tracing fabric-y stuff that kind of feels like, it kind of feels like fabric softener sheets. Or like, you know, that weird, really thin fabric that's sometimes on like the underside of your chairs or like the underside of your couch or something like that. It's like that really thin, almost papery feeling fabric. Yeah. Then there's pattern on that all in here. This is not my pattern. So if you're missing yours and you've been like, where is my pattern? Please message me because I have your pattern. What else? What else? There was something else. What was it? So is anyone else super duper jealous of all of the photos right now that are popping up, all the photos and video from the big event in Versailles? Now I'm going to try and say it, but I'm going to butcher it because I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's the Fête de Galante, something like that. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. It's the big, gorgeous event in Versailles that they hold every year where tickets are so much, but totally worth it because Versailles. And in order to get in, whether you have, well, even if you have a ticket, I've heard that if you show up and you have a ticket, but you're in like a suit, a modern suit or a modern evening gown, they will not let you in. You have to be dressed 18th century. Even if your 18th century isn't perfectly historical, or if it's like a fantasy 18th century, that's fine. But you have to be dressed in approximation of 18th century costume. I think that's amazing because they want to keep the feeling and the theme and everything just like perfect across the board for everyone who's attending. And the pictures and the video of all the beautiful costumes there, it's just amazing. It's one of those several dream events around the world that I so want to attend. I mean, there's that one. I'm not going to try and butcher the pronunciation again, but there's the yearly event in Versailles. There's Carnival in Venice every year. I'd love to go to that. There's the big Jane Austen festival. I believe it's held in Bath every year. I assume it's pronounced Bath. It's spelled Bath, like Americans say bath. I'm going to get in the bath, like the bathtub. But in Jane Austen films, they pronounce it bath. So I'm going to say bath because that sounds really posh and awesome. So it's held in Bath, I believe, every year. And that sounds just absolutely amazing. There's some events here in the US that I'd love to go to. There's just events all over. Someday, you all, I'm going to make it. I am. In fact, I already have my fabric for my 18th century dress for when I get to go to Versailles to the event. I already have it. I've had it for several years now. If I lose weight, I can make one of the dresses with the what are they called? The dresses with the dang it all. I don't remember the name. You know, the 18th century gown that has the 2 rows of pleats here and like the train that starts up here and like wafts down the back of the dress. My brain is shorting out, but I know you know what I'm talking about. I'm not sure how much fabric I have. I bought it years ago. It was meant to be for a 16th century Italian dress back when I was more heavily involved in the SCA. And I did a little research and figured out it would work. It would work. But that never happened because, you know, I'm afraid of using the good fabric. And now that I'm trying to be less afraid of using the good fabric, I realized that fabric would make the most amazing an 18th century ball gown. Just amazing. So there it sits in my sewing room, just waiting to be made and appreciated. So I think that really needs to happen. I'd like to make that happen. There are some plans in the works. We will see. We shall see. I have threatened Handsome Hubby. Basically, I've threatened everyone. I've told my friends. I've told my family. I've told everyone. I've said, listen, when my birthday comes along, year after next, and if I haven't gone to Europe on my birthday, I am flying to London. That is what's happening. Now, a few days later, if Handsome Hubby wants to join me or any friends or anyone, that's fine. But at least for the first few days, I'm going by myself. At this point in time, I feel like it's a rite of passage because I have been wanting to go to England since I was 5 years old. That's right, 5 years old. You've probably heard this story. Too bad. This is my vlog. When I was 5 years old, and we were in a doctor's office, and I was tired of the kids' magazines, I was looking at one of the grown-up magazines, and there was an ad for something. I don't even remember what it was. But the main portion of the ad was a portrait of Queen Elizabeth I. And I thought she was the most beautiful princess I'd ever seen. And I strategically, because, I mean, I was amazing, even as a 5-year-old, ripped that page out and hid it in my dress. And when I got home, I stuck it on my mirror, and I would just stare at it all day, thinking she was just the most amazing, most beautiful, most wonderful. Well, sticking it on your mirror means that your mom's going to see it. So I got in trouble that I defaced a public magazine in a doctor's office, you know, without mom seeing or noticing. But mom did sit me down and teach me about who she was. And even at 5, I knew that she was amazing. And that being a queen was even better than being a princess. And that she was basically like a better princess who didn't even need a prince. She could do everything on her own. That's how I saw her at 5. And so, like, I've been obsessed with Queen Elizabeth I and England And then I had to do a report in school when I was in like, I don't know, second grade or something. And it had to be like a modern person who inspires you. That's when I found out there was a Queen Elizabeth II. And so then I became obsessed with Queen Elizabeth II. And then, I don't remember how old when I found out about Princess Diana. And then she became my princess. I mean, the royal family in England was just, they were my royal family. And to this day, it makes me cry that I didn't make it to England while Queen Elizabeth was the queen. I mean, that just sucks, guys. It just sucks. Anyway, it just sucks. So I'm going to go. It's going to happen. Even if it means me pulling out a credit card and hopping on a plane, calling in sick to work and just going. It's going to happen. Year after next. I'm going to make it happen. I'm just going to do it because I'm tired of being the girl who always wanted to go to England and never did. I know. I didn't mean to get sad. I'm sorry. What else? What else? I have so much sewing to do. Like, so much sewing. I have, like, three major events. Well, yeah. 2 major and 1 super fun event, with my friends, this month. This is a very busy month with very busy weekends for me. So I'm trying to keep all of my July, like, weekends open because I have costume college at the end of July and I'm going to need every spare minute to get all my last minute costume college sewing open because I have an epic costume college trip planned and that's going to be amazing. That's my other problem, trying to find a job not only that will hire me, but will be okay with my costume college trip coming up because everything's paid for. So it's kind of like, you have to let me go. You have to. Sorry. I also have to get all the stuff figured out, kind of for my classes and polished off. I really hope they let me know how many people signed up for one of my classes because otherwise, I don't know how I'm going to know how much stuff to take. I should probably get that figured out. That could be a problem. I don't know. As always, I'm super grateful that you are following along with my vlog and my somewhat costuming journey. I hope you enjoyed my little video from this past weekend. Had so much fun going to the Fort Nisqually Queen Victoria birthday celebration event and just enjoyed learning from all the historical interpreters there, taking a carriage ride around the green in the orchard, hanging out with my awesome friend Melinda, who just looked absolutely stunning that day in her 1865 dress outfit. I was earlier. I was like 59. You can tell the difference in our hoop skirts, by the way, really is the major difference. While my hoop was very rounded, my hoop is very round. My cage hoop is very round. Hers comes in a little bit on the sides and then slopes out in the back. And it was kind of a precursor to the bustle age that was coming up in 1870. Well, more like 1869. But we had so much fun. The fort's actually set in 1855. And according to the fort's history, they didn't get the memo on hoop skirts until like 1859. The metal cage hoop skirt actually was patented in 1856. So, you know, they were around before then, just someone got smart and put in the patent, as people do. I know I've talked about this before, so I'm going to sign off. I hope you're all having a wonderful day, and just, you know, remember that bum pads make an excellent hat. Goodbye. Goodbye now.